Honestly, never in the history of never have I ever struggled so much with a fucking video. This is like the 5th time I'm trying to shoot the same video. So, me and my friend, we're going to call her Tammy because my friends have forbidden me from saying their names in any of my videos. So, me and my friend Tammy, we decided we were going to go out on Tuesday because we weren't working on the Wednesday and Thursday. So we were like, yes, bitch, let's turn up and let's do this shit. Lo and behold, it starts raining that day. And when I say raining, I mean cats and dogs, low-key thunderstorm, low-key tsunami. It was bad. Okay, it wasn't that bad, but it was bad. You get the drift. My friend sends me a message, and she's like, bitch, there is no way we can go out. It's raining, and clearly the rain is jealous of us. The rain doesn't want us to be great, so let's just sleep in. So I'm like, yeah, it's pretty miserable. 2 hours later, this girl calls me, and she's like, bitch, I'm busy getting dressed. Get your fucking freaking dress on. Let's go out. The rain had died down, so it was just drizzling. So I'm just kind of like, I leap out of bed. The first dress that I see puts itself on me, bitch. It puts itself on me. So, get dressed, do my makeup, do my hair, get an Uber, and I meet my friend at the cigar bar. So, we're drinking, we're having a little moment, and we leave the cigar bar and go to Long Street. This is when shit starts popping. So Long Street is this street where there is a high concentration of bars and clubs. It's a lot of fun, but shit always pops up there. I always lose my phone. I get robbed. I meet these fuckboys. It becomes a whole thing. We're drinking at this bar, but I decide I want to check out the vibe at another bar. So I leave my friends, go to this other bar. It's empty, bitch. There's literally just one group of these white kids dancing. And I'm like, ugh, let me just get myself some shots and go back to my friends. So I have the first shot and I turn around and there's this one boy and he's gazing at me. He's staring, checking me out. And I'm like, okay, have the second shot. And on my way out, these white kids basically follow me and we meet at the door. Now, I started talking to the girl, and as I'm busy talking to her, this white boy, Luke, jumps in front of her, headbutts people to come and talk to me. So, we're talking, and when I see there was an instant and immediate, spark and connection, it was, instantaneous. It was like that Hollywood movie where you're looking at someone's eyes, and it's like, where have you been all of my life? So we decide we're all going to go to meet my friends at the bar that I was originally at. So me and Luke are really buzzing off each other's energy. Get to the bar and he buys everyone a round of shots and he gets me and him drinks. So as we're drinking, he's all he grabs my hand and he's like, look, babe, I really want to talk to you, but it's so loud in here. And I'm like, I want to talk to you too. So we gulp down our brandy and coke and we run outside and we're in the next bar, which is, chilled and quiet. And we're sitting down and we're talking. So at this point, we start making out and oh my gosh, he was the best kisser, the best conversationalist. These fuckboys know what they're doing. Let me just tell you that. Now, during kissing, and this is what I hate about the whole meeting up with people thing, is there's always that moment when you're not sure if he knows your tea or not. So at this time, I'm not sure if he knows my tea or not. And at this point, I push him off and I'm like, okay, bitch, how am I going to tell this guy? So as we're talking, he mentions he's going to go to Thailand. So I'm like, perfect. I'm like, oh, you're going to meet all these lady boys and like transgender girls there. Like, what do you think of that? And he giggles and he's sort of like, look, if you have a penis, you're a man. If you have a vagina, you're a female. Simple as. And I'm like, so we keep making out. And I'm like, no, because at this point, like, I need to make sure that he knows that I'm trans before this carries on any longer. So as we're talking, I'm like, bitch, how am I going to bring this up? How am I going to bring this up? Because I first want to gauge his thoughts to see how he feels about it. So I bring up pornography, and I'm like, what type of porn do you like watching? He starts laughing, and he really had a thing for the melanated sisters. When I say he loved black women, that is a complete understatement. So I tell him, I'm like, have you ever seen transgender porn? So he giggles and he's like, yeah, he's actually seen a lot of transgender porn. So at this point, I'm kind of like, okay, because in my mind, I feel like if you have seen a lot of one genre of porn, in my mind, that means you're out there looking for it, or you're at least interested. So that surprisingly like calms me down. And as I'm about to tell him, as I'm about to tell this boy, Tammy runs in and she's all like, bruh, your friend, Luke's friend, was making a scene at the bar. He was getting into a fight with the bartender. So Luke gets up and he goes to go sort the situation out. Sorts the situation out, gets his boy an Uber, and I'm like, fuck, like, that was like the perfect opportunity. Like, that was my moment, and now it's taken away from me. The night has pretty much ended. Me and Luke had been talking for the whole night, and he's all like, look, he wants to go home with me. At this point, a bitch is drunk. But I somehow had enough faith in the fact that I thought that he would I thought that he would react positively to the whole trans thing. So he's like, I'll get us an Uber. It'll be chilled. Don't worry about it. He's holding my hand. He keeps like, girl, his hand was around my, oh, girl. He was good at this shit. Gets us an Uber. We get into the Uber. At this point, this is when the nervousness comes in, and I try to bring up the topic again. But I'm interrupted again by, like, the Uber driver. We get home, and we start making out. Now, for some reason, I think because I've been bringing it up so much, I thought that I told him, or I thought that he knew, or, bitch, I don't know what I thought, because when I said, no, I don't want to have sex, he asked me, are you on your period? Did I not get sober? Because I'm like, at this point, now I like know for sure he does not know that I'm T. We end up, like sleeping, and girl, I was down to literally my panties. And I surprisingly took really well. But we're in bed and we're making out, and he just was such an encouraging like person, and he was like low key like my Dr. Phil / Oprah in a white boy's body, trying to make me feel good about myself. In the morning, we're making out, and he wants to get laid. And I'm just kind of like, no. And he's all like, what's wrong? Like, what's happening? And he asked me again, are you still on your period? And I'm thinking, well, I mean, bruh, if I was on my period, I would still be on my period. We continue making out. And at this point, like, I'm trying to push him off, and I bring up the whole trans thing again. So he starts laughing. And he's like, what would you do if I was transgender? And I'm like, it'd be okay. Like, of course it would be okay. Then he, like, asked me, so what, like, you keep bringing this up. Are you transgender? Bitch, I got nervous. I don't know what happened, but I was like, it sunk in that this boy is in my room. So much has already happened. I was like, nah, I'm going to come out on text messenger. I'm not going to come out like this. So I just brush it off. I don't really answer the question. I just laugh and I'm like, what would you do if I was? Haha. And I'm like, what? Imagine what my name would be, though. Speaking in hypotheticals. And, you know, he rubs my leg and he's like, well, you'd still be beautiful to me. And I'm like, and even at that point, I could have come out, but because I was like, he seems okay with it, girl. We get an Uber because he needs to go home and I need to go to Maitland to go do some other shit. So we get in an Uber and he's making out with me and he's pressing me for my number. So I give him my number. And by the end of that night, we had separated. I'd done my shit. I went to bed again. He sends me a message and he's like, you're so beautiful and you're so amazing and I really hope we can do this again. At this point, I was just kind of like, I need to tell this boy. So I wait like an hour for him to get offline. And then I send him this message. I'll read the message verbatim because I don't want it to like, yeah, Luke. Oh God, he's online. So he says, hey, last night was great. Thanks. Da 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 da. So I'm like, I respond and I'm like, that ain't nothing but facts. Thanks for coming over. You seem like a really chilled and super interesting to talk to. However, I do need to tell you something. Last night I kept trying to bring up the whole transgender thing. And when you did eventually ask me at some point, I lied. I am in fact trans. I'm sorry I didn't tell you beforehand. However, in my defense, I've seen how negatively people respond. And I was afraid that that would be the case with you. Look, if you're uncomfortable in any way, I totally understand. And I don't expect anything from you. But anyways, thanks. That was a great evening. You'll never know how much it meant. And I did a peace sign. It would be nice to still hang out. But, like I said, if you're not comfortable, I totally get it. I send it. And as soon as I send it, he goes online. I quickly like go offline and I'm like, oh no. And like within a minute, notification and I'm like, oh. I don't know why he made me so irked. In exclamation marks. I open the message. It is in bold. So I just see what in bold, exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. He responds, what? Exclamation, exclamation. Then he writes, you know, that laughing, but like, that laughing face where like you're sweating. And he's like, it's okay, I totally understand. I still had a great time with you. Oh, I don't want to read this. I don't want to get emotional. But he basically just said, like, he still thought that I was beautiful. And there's actually a sweet part to this message. he basically said, this is the part that really got me. Being transgender doesn't take away from the fact that I had a great time. And he's like, you're still an incredible person. And he actually wrote that knowing that makes me even more of an impressive person. And it was weird because, look, I understand this was just some random hookup. I understand that he was a fuckboy. And when I say he was a fuckboy, I mean he was a fuckboy. Because in the message, he basically stated he would like to hang out again, but not as anything like relationship, but as friends and maybe do what we did. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And, but by far, I think out of all of these boys, he will always be the sweetest, the kindest, and he met me at a weird point when I was feeling some type of way, and he validated me like no other. Like, literally, like no other. We're still talking. And I'm going to end this video, but just please be safe. I know it gets lit, and we like to have fun, but not all of these boys are named Luke.